Hey everybody, I love today's questions. They come from a 9-year-old boy who lives in Virginia. His mom is one of my best friends, and he's actually a good friend of mine too. And she was watching my video, he saw it, and he said, I want to ask Carrie some questions. So they sat down, wrote me an email, and here's what he wrote. He said, hi Carrie, I have some questions for you. How come mom and dad get to stay up late and watch movies without me? How come mom makes decisions without me? Like we got a car that she likes, but I don't like it, and I'm in that car all the time. It's not fair. And then lastly, how come dad doesn't brush his teeth at night and I have to? These are fantastic questions. And what I want to say is, I hear you. It's not fair. And I really get it. Second, I would ask you a question. Why do you think that adults get to do things that kids don't have to do? Or why adults get to do things that kids don't get to do? So I want you to go ahead and answer that question. And since you're not in front of me, go ahead and write it down. You can even email me the answer. I would be super curious to know why you think that is. Next, I would ask you, hey, I have some thoughts. And since you're asking me the question, I'm probably guessing that you want to hear it. But if you were in front of me, I would say, do you want to know what my thoughts are? And I would wait. And if you said, sure, I would share them. And here's what I would say. I would tell you that your parents who are in the phase of a life called adulthood, their bodies are grown. Their brain is wired. They've got all the habits that they're going to have, and hopefully they're creating some new healthy ones, but they've built their bodies so that they're kind of who they are. Now you are in the phase of life called childhood, and during childhood, that's when your body's growing, that's when your brain is really learning things, and that's when you're forming habits that are going to be really important for later. So the perfect example is brushing your teeth. Yeah, your dad probably should be brushing his teeth every night, but right now, because you're really getting that habit in your body, it's extra important that they remind you to do that and that you go ahead and do it. So yeah, it might not feel fair, but what I want to tell you is that when you get to the phase of life called adulthood, you're going to be able to make those choices for yourself. And right now, it's your parents' job, and it feels like that it's their responsibility to make sure they instill you with these good habits, that they help you build these habits so that when they're not around you later, they can trust that you're going to have that in you. So I get that it's not fair, and I want to give you something you can do when you're feeling like things aren't fair. And what I'm going to suggest is that you get yourself a notebook, and whenever you feel like there's something that your parents are getting to do that you wish you could do, you write it down. So you start keeping a notebook of all the things that I want to do when I'm an adult. So for example, you could say, the car I want to drive when I'm older is, and you write that down, or even put a picture of it in there. When I'm older, I want to have, every other night, I want to not brush my teeth when I'm going to bed. If you love pizza, you could say, hey, for a year, I'm going to eat pizza every single day. So whatever it is, you can put all your wishes, all your dreams in that notebook. And then later on, when you are in adulthood, which really isn't that far away, when you're on your own, when you're doing your own life, you could pull out that notebook and you might look at it and go, wow, that's really silly. I don't want to do that anymore. Or you might look at it and go, oh, those were the things I wanted when I was a kid, and I really want to do them now. So those would be my suggestions for you. Now, for parents who are watching this, here's what I want to tell you is that there's 3 things I did in answering this child's question. One, and first, was empathizing. So I just said, I hear you, I get it. And then I zipped it. Then I asked a question, and then I would listen. I would really genuinely want to hear what that person had to say. And then third is I offered my ideas, and I would always try to ask permission to make sure that person wants to hear what I have to say. Because by doing that, typically they say, yeah, of course I want to hear it, and they're much more open to receiving what you're offering. And then for the whole family, I'm going to suggest that everybody gets a wish notebook. Everybody gets a notebook where they get to write down the things that they want to do, whether it's now or later, and you all just start dreaming really big together. So what I would love is for you guys to take a moment and on the blog below, tell me a time in your life as a child where it felt like things weren't fair. And what do you wish the adults in your own life had done differently? And go ahead and share that with your kids and get a conversation going. See what they want to know about you when you were growing up, because kids really like hearing that stuff. So this is it for the fall. I'm going to take a break now from these videos, but I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your feelings. It's been phenomenal, and I will see you next year.